Brave Bang Bravern is a very special show. Easily one of the most bizarre mecha piloting series since probably Darling in the Franxx. A series with more testosterone in it than you can shake a pilot stick at. More get inside me references than an adult plumber video. A cute alien girl that screams Gawa pee and pukes in your face. A military strategy campaign that a preschooler can write. Like seriously, they're going west because it sounds cooler. A muscular adult version of Shinji Ikari that won't pilot the damn mecha. An ED that's so horny that I shouldn't really call it an ED. And everything is called Smith. That's Smith. That's Smith. And yes, they even eat Smith. All culminating into one of the most refreshing returns of the super robot genre. But is it foolproof? This is my thoughts on the first 4 episodes of the series, so let's jump right into it. Bang Brave Bravern, say that 10 times fast, opens up with Isami Ao, who is a part of the Japanese Self-Defense Force, and Lewis Smith, who is a part of the U.S. Marine Corps. And they're currently together doing this practice campaign. And at the very beginning, it looks like they're kind of challenging each other. Isami ends up getting ahead of him and going towards the enemy lines. It's all, of course, a practice routine, and they still get in trouble because they went against their orders. Well, jump forward, we kind of see them at a bar. Lewis goes over to Isami and says how great he was. That was fantastic. Isami claims that it's because of the robot that he was using was kind of finely tuned, but in actuality, he just knows how to pilot really well. We'll cut forward, and this alien force comes to Earth and starts attacking it. Actually launches, I think, 8 total pods across the entire world, and just starts decimating everything. And as everybody's trying to fight back, they're doing terribly because nothing they do can actually affect the aliens because they have these shields. Well, eventually, as they're like at their final moments, Isami's about to die, Lewis is about to die, suddenly Bravern shows up. Bravern, this sentient robot, kind of shows up out of nowhere right in front of Isami and says, Isami, get inside of me. We can fight these things, let's do it. And Isami gets inside of him, and they just wreck all the aliens. Well, being as the world is the way it is, immediately afterwards, Isami ends up getting arrested. They start waterboarding him to try to find out what Bravern is. At the same time, Bravern's talking to all the leadership that's still alive, telling them about, yes, this alien force that's arrived here is coming to destroy it, and Bravern is here to save them all. But he needs Isami. He has to have Isami, because Isami's special. Isami is the one that he's chosen, and the two of them are great allies together, and they will destroy all the aliens and save mankind. Well, eventually, more aliens start attacking. They end up having to release Isami so that he can get inside of Bravern again. But at this point, Isami doesn't want to do it because he just got waterboarded and nothing's good coming from it. He doesn't want to get in Bravern ever again. Lewis ends up having to shake some sense into him. Even Lewis even says, hey, Bravern, I'll pilot you. Let us work together. I want to save mankind too. I want to be a hero just like you. But Bravern will not let Lewis pilot him. He won't let him ride him ever. It has to be Isami, which obviously wrecks Lewis a lot because he wants to pilot Bravern. Yes, Isami eventually decides to get inside of Bravern. They fight off the bad guys and win once again. And this all kind of shifts into, yes, them kind of debating on what they're going to do for their military campaign. They're still in Hawaii, and it seems like the whole entire world's being attacked, so you have to decide which direction they're going. And like I alluded to earlier, yes, Bravern tells them all the best option they have is to go west. They have to go to the land of the rising sun rather than the falling sun. That way, when they arrive there, everybody will rejoice. That's the whole reason that he wants to go west, is because it'll be cooler. Additionally, one of the alien robots they destroyed ejected a capsule that ends up being this little girl, Lulu, that Lewis ends up finding. And she becomes extremely attached to Lewis, enough that she pretty much calls everything Smith because he says his name is Smith. They did some studies on her to come find out that she has the body of a human, but her intestines, her internal organs are really small. It's as if she's never eaten a single thing. But other than that, it seems like she's human. But yeah, Bravern pretty much keeps making Isami pilot him. Isami doesn't want to pilot him, but kind of reluctantly agrees to it. At the same time, Isami sees how much Lewis is having fun with his new girl and gets jealous of the fact that he's having all the fun in the world while he has to pilot this robot. And at some point, Bravern ends up kind of tricking Isami to go to this one bar where everybody kind of celebrates Isami and how much he's helped him and how much he's helped them and saved the world, and kind of bolsters him up a little bit. And they also find out that, yes, Japan is pretty much decimated. They send a drone over there, and it captures pretty much nothing but a burning land. And that's Bang Brave Bravern so far. This series is extremely, extremely special. Let's start off with the visuals. I think it looks really good. This show looks fantastic. A lot of detail in the characters themselves. They stay on model pretty much all the time. They just have a lot of detail to the characters, a lot of depth to them. The girls look absolutely gorgeous. The guys look muscular and handsome. There's just not a single character in the series that doesn't look just gorgeous. At the same time, yes, pretty much all the vehicles and all of the mecha and all of the aliens, they are all done in CGI. Now, it's very good CGI. This is CGI that doesn't really rub me the wrong way. It doesn't look horrible. This isn't like Kamikatsu CGI. The CGI itself just looks fantastic. It doesn't have like over polished to it. It doesn't have too much detail to it. So it all kind of fits the quality of the rest of the 2D animation. I just really couldn't ask more from it. Additionally, yes, all the actual combat sequences look absolutely fantastic. There's a lot of choreography to them. There's a lot of strategy and whatnot to it. So it kind of keeps you on your toes, constantly kind of throwing something new at you. Besides maybe the more standard Bravern runs in there and does his super sword thing and things blow up, which is technically standard for your super robot type of series. Yes, they have to scream the name of the attack when they come rushing at something with a sword. That aside, probably the meat and potatoes of this series so far is really just the absolute absurdity of it. Let's just get right into that. This series, despite the fact that it is highlighting this core story that the Earth itself is being wiped out. I mean, we're talking like Aldnoah Zero types of levels here. It's absolute humanity being wiped out. Again, this drone flying over to Japan, it's just a massive field of fire. Everything's gone. And so you're seeing death left and right. Mankind's being wiped out. But yet, at its core, you have Bravern, who wants to make sure everybody calls him Bravern. He screams his name out. He likes to interrupt people to make points about what's going on. Bravern is literally like this comedy routine that's thrown in the middle of it. It's like you have an entire world being massacred, and in the middle is Jim Carrey as a robot that is supposed to save it. It's so bizarre in that regard because everybody's taking this seriously. There's not a single character in this series that's acting goofy. It's just Bravern. And it's almost like what I'm assuming is happening here is there's probably going to be an emphasis on the idea of Isami himself probably having a childhood dream of being a super robot. It's probably the sense of that childhoodness in him of dreaming to be big, dreaming to be the hero of the world itself. And maybe Bravern, as an alien, probably a part of this force that was coming in, probably caught that, seen who he was, and was excited for that idea. Like, excited for the Japanese robot hero, and probably chose Isami to be his pilot because he wants to kind of act that out. So it's like this childish element of being the hero thrown into an actual war. So the absurdity comes from the fact that everybody doesn't want to die, and yet Bravern just wants to be a hero and do it in the most goofy way possible. It's weird. It is weird like that. Yes, flat out, you're not supposed to take this show seriously. I'm not taking it seriously. But it is hard to kind of note the fact that, yes, technically 98% of the show is serious and people are dying, but that other 2% is get inside me and he's the only one that can grab my piloting rod. It's like this weird, like, overflowing of testosterone and just manliness that just oozes out from travesty, which is weird. And yes, those elements of the series I absolutely love. I love that Lulu, the weird alien girl that comes out of nowhere that just acts like a child that is typical in these types of series, which she'll probably end up being like her own robot herself, is kind of too much. Like she's like ramped up to the levels that she's annoying because she screams Gawapi and vomits in people's faces and punches other people and constantly is trying to eat things and then pukes it up. It's just, she again is this trope within these types of series, but she's kind of leveled up so much that she goes to the point where she's supposed to be like off-putting. So it's obviously trying to parody it while at the same time making it too much. And then there's the whole thing between Isami and Lewis, which I think is probably the part I don't understand the most. There's obviously some weird kind of like yaoi thing between the two of them, but not really, because on one end, I kind of see why Lewis is sort of chasing after Isami, because Isami is doing exactly what he wants. Lewis wants to be the hero, and Lewis wants to pilot Bravern. And Lewis is so jealous that Isami gets to do that. He gets to save the world. But then Isami's over here, he just doesn't want to have anything to do with it. And he meets Lewis twice. Once when he was at the bar and Lewis said, man, you did a really good move there. That was crazy. Did you get punished? Crazy. And then later on when he actually takes Isami from the guys that were interrogating him, maybe because he saved him from being interrogated, maybe that's why he's sort of obsessed with Lewis. But like every time Lewis shows up, he goes, oh, you're having fun. Oh, you have Lulu. Oh, well, I guess I got to go actually save the world. And it's like, what, why are these two a thing? I don't understand why these two are a thing, but it's making it a thing. And obviously based on the ED, somebody thinks this thing because dang, the ED is just thirsty between the two of them. And there's the fact that, yes, technically Isami is almost like a Shinji character. It's almost like they're trying to parody a Shinji character. I mean, there was like this whole moment where it literally felt like Lewis was Misato and Isami was Shinji, and he was screaming at Shinji to get in the damn mecha. Minus the part where Misato says, hey, Ava Unit 1, I'll pilot you instead. And then Ava Unit 1 says, no, I won't let you ride me. You can't get in my cockpit. Only Isami is allowed to be inside me. It just writes itself. It's all kind of weird, and it all technically works. And that's, I think, the most oddity about this. It's got the action. It's got some really funny punchlines. It's got like this whole save the world kind of thing. And all in the middle is Bravern, who is just, he doesn't fit the world, but yet he kind of does. And that's the oddity of the whole thing. I'm enjoying it just because it kind of keeps me on my toes, while at the same time, I think the overall story and the overall elements of the show itself don't do enough for me. I think when it comes to Isami and it comes to just kind of saving the world, none of that stuff seems to have my interest. It's only around whenever Bravern is doing something just off the wall, or Lulu is screaming and punching people, or they're making some sort of sexual joke between Isami and Bravern and Lewis. Outside of that, which is a lot of the show, it's not doing anything for me. It's like I'm constantly waiting for that next moment they make some kind of sexual joke or innuendo at some point to kind of give me another chuckle. It has a really good knack of every now and then just doing something absurd and catching you off guard, and then you laugh out loud, and then it goes right back to the mundane. So it's kind of an up and down for me. It's never, the best way to put it is it's not consistent. It's never consistent. It's just all over the place. And when it's all over the place, every now and then it hits something that just works so well. It's balanced, but at the same time chaos, and at the same time I'm just waiting for that next hit that really does take this show back up there for me. Anyhow, that's my thoughts on Bang Brave Bravern, a series that is special. It's still technically hard for me to suggest just because it does have a lot of lulling points, but it's a series that is for sure doing so much that I wasn't really expecting, at the same time is very unique in a lot of ways. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, make sure that like button down below, comment, let me know what you thought of the series so far if you're going to be checking it out. Additionally, if you're new to the channel, make sure that subscribe button's got my content, and news, reviews, first impressions, top list if it's anime, it's pretty much here. Additionally, if you want to support the channel more, Patreon link, tips link, super thanks, membership button down below. Greatly appreciate it, but it does. Y'all take care.